know that I will read them at the beginning of this meeting for people who are out there who may not be able to make it at the 7:30 meeting. But anytime there's public comment, I will read both of them. I will read them into both sessions. If you say public comment and you sign your name, then I will read it unless it's something I can't read in 3 minutes or less. So let's start off with a public comment from Dawn Schneider. I'm expressing my appreciation and gratitude to all of my children's teachers for making the best of an unusual situation. They have all gone over and beyond the call of duty to make sure they are providing the best educational experience possible. Mr. Rowland received his classes early and was able to call each family, do a practice Zoom with each student, and answer any questions about the first day of school. He also sent a letter in the mail welcoming my daughter to his class. Mrs. Salcedo was extremely accessible, and the teachers at VHS were prepared and well organized. At High Desert, even though the 7th and 8th grade students and teachers did not receive their assignments until the last minute, every teacher embraced the changes that were thrown their way and tackled the challenges head on. I'm disappointed to see the elimination of honors, history, drama, and choir, as well as consolidation of the two most popular electives, video production and ASB yearbook, into one combined class. I was optimistic with the change in leadership at High Desert that the counselor and principal would have worked with the teachers to reestablish trust that was broken with, I'm just reading this for what it says, broken with the previous leadership. In a small community like Acton, families want to see the front office and staff and teachers working in harmony to use their skills, passion, and qualification to best serve the students. As a former educator, and it is my opinion that the schedule for the 7th and 8th grade had too many unnecessary changes with the teaching assignments, and little creativity was used to problem solve to establish a schedule that played to teacher strengths and continued to allow students to access a wide variety of appealing course options. These comments aren't meant to further widen the gap of distrust and discontent at High Desert, but to encourage our district to lean on and embrace the talents and problem-solving skills that the High Desert teachers can offer. After all, administrators and counselors tend to frequently change at High Desert, but our teachers remain year after year, change after change. Our teachers provide the backbone of stability at that school. As a parent community member, I feel it is imperative that the trust be reestablished with the principal, counselor, teachers, parents, and students. Egos need to be set aside, and the valuable historic local knowledge of the teachers needs to be taken into consideration when making decisions that impact students. Thank you again. That was from Dawn Schneider. As with all public comment, there will be no board response or staff response to that outside of the superintendent touching base with these people, hopefully tomorrow morning. Next, from Sandy Fosberg. Dear board members, congratulations on getting distance learning up and running on the first day of school. I know a great deal of work went into making this happen. Fortunately for my family, my kids were able to log in and attend each of their classes. This is a testament to hard work and dedication of the staff and teachers. Thank you to everyone who made that happen. I want to express my concern over the last minute creation and distribution of 7th and 8th grade schedules at High Desert School. Despite promises of the schedules being provided to parents earlier, the schedules were not provided until late in the day on Tuesday, just hours before the school started on Wednesday morning. Parents were told this was because of fluctuations in enrollment. This explanation is illogical given that schedules for other grades and districts were set and published earlier. I'm especially disappointed to learn that the electives for the High Desert 7th and 8th graders were changed with the elimination of drama and choir and combination of ASB, yearbook, and video production. Many students have been assigned electives that were not desired or appropriate. My son is an excellent example of this. In the spring, he submitted his request for 7th grade elective. He requested ASB, yearbook, video production, choir, and visual arts in that order. When the schedule came out late on Tuesday, he was placed in journalism, an elective that was not offered last spring, that he did not request, and that, as everyone should know, is wholly inappropriate for him. I immediately contacted the school and was offered his fourth choice, visual arts. He's on a wait list for video production. While I appreciate that move, I do not understand why he was not placed in any of the choice to begin with, or why he cannot now be enrolled in ASB yearbook or video production. He submitted his request timely, and his enrollment was never in question. If requests are honored in the order of submission, my son's assignment could not have been due to fluctuations in enrollment, as his name should be moved up the list, not down. If fluctuation in enrollment is really the reason, the policy seems to allow newly enrolled students to push continuing students down the list. I assume that this is not true, and I'm left with the conclusion that 1, electives and teacher assignments were done at the last moment, and 2, class assignments were done randomly without regard to the time of the student's request or the appropriateness of the assignment. I respectfully ask that district leadership provide transparency to the class assignment process, take steps to ensure that the popular time-honored electives be fully restored, and that students be assigned to their preferred electives in the order of their request. Thank you for your time. Respectfully submitted, Sandy Fosberg, parent to 2 students in the district. So as I said, these will be read again in their entirety. Before I sat on this board, I was outspoken. I expected to be heard, and I will provide no less than that to the people who reach out to this board. That said, are there any more public comments? All right, we will adjourn to closed session. If I have a move to do that.
This is Brandon, so moved.
Second.
Okay, call the question.
Mike, aye.
Brandon, aye.
Tim, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Board 4, aye. Board President, aye. 5-0. We'll adjourn the closed session at 6:41 p.m.
Okay, you just heard Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District Board President Ken Pfalzgraf reading 2 public comments that were submitted. They were submitted by 2 parents, both parents of middle school children, and they were the comments were sent in by the request of the district and school board. During this COVID time, public comments are requested to be sent in via email, and then they will be read right now at 6:30, right before they go into closed session, and then again at 7:30 when the public meeting starts. Mr. Pfalzgraf stated that he will read the comments twice, both at 6:30 and 7:30, and that he prefers to read them rather than having the parents or community members call in and read their comments due to the fact that they had a breach a few meetings ago. The meeting was compromised, and they don't want a repeat of that again, so they are now taking measures and asking for parents in the community to please send in their comments ahead of time, and they will read them at the meeting. They've also turned off the chat room on the sidebar of the Zoom as well, trying to just keep everything safe and secure for everyone. So those comments will be read again at 7:30 when they resume back to the open session. And right now they are adjourned in closed session until about 7:30, and then we will tune in again.
Good evening, everyone. We have just returned back from closed session for the August 27th, 2020, and we're going to the regular board meeting of the Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees. We are going to reconvene the regular meeting at 7:33 p.m. Our IT support here this evening, I'll ask Mr. Caesar to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to read the district civility statement now. When conducting district business, we will communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others. We will listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others. We will understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors. We will understand and respect district policies and procedures. And we will maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. That said, we will have public comments, recognition, and reports. Is there any recognition or reports before I move into public comment? There's not. Okay. Hearing none. We do have two public comments, and I need everyone to know that before we entered into closed session, I read these earlier. So if you, short of us being able to have live meetings, when you send in something for public comment, I'm going to read it both at the onset of the meeting and again now. And we do have two public comments. I'm going to read them as they were presented to the district in their entirety. The first being from Dawn Schneider, labeled public comment. I'm expressing my appreciation and gratitude to all of my children's teachers for making the best of an unusual situation. They have all gone over and beyond the call of duty to make sure they are providing the best educational experience possible. Mr. Rowland received his class list early and was able to call each family, do a practice Zoom with each student, and answer any questions about the first day of school. He also sent a letter in the mail welcoming my daughter to his class. Mrs. Sado was extremely accessible, and the teachers at VHS were well prepared and well organized. At High Desert, even though the 7th and 8th grade students and teachers did not receive their assignments until the last minute, every teacher embraced the changes that were thrown their way and tackled the challenges head on. I'm disappointed to see the elimination of honors history, drama, and choir, as well as the consolidation of the two most popular electives, video production and ASB yearbook, into one combined class. I was very optimistic with the change in leadership at High Desert. The counselor and principal would have worked with the teachers to reestablish trust that was broken with the previous leadership. In a small community like Acton, families went to see the front office staff and teachers working in harmony to use their skills, passion, and qualifications to best serve the students. As a former educator, it is my opinion that the schedule for 7th and 8th grade had too many unnecessary changes with teaching assignments, and little creativity was used to problem solve to establish a schedule that played to teacher strengths and continued to allow students to access a wide variety of appealing course options. These comments are not meant to further widen the gap of distrust and discontent at High Desert, but to encourage our district to lean on and embrace the talents and problem-solving skills that the High Desert teachers can offer. After all, administrators and counselors tend to frequently change at High Desert, but our teachers remain year after year, change after change. Our teachers provide the backbone of stability at that school. As a parent and community member, I feel it is imperative that trust be reestablished with the principal, counselor, teachers, parents, and students. Egos need to be set aside, and the valuable historical local knowledge of the teachers needs to be taken into consideration when making decisions that impact students. Thank you again, Dawn Schneider, for public comment. The second one is from Sandy Fosberg, and it reads, Dear board members, Congratulations on getting distance learning up and running on the first day of school. I know a great deal of work went into making this happen. Fortunately for my family, my kids were able to log in and attend each of their classes. This is a testament to the hard work and dedication of the staff and teachers. Thank you to everyone who made that happen. I'd like to express my concern over the last minute creation and distribution of the 7th and 8th grade schedules at High Desert School. Despite promises of the schedules being provided to parents earlier, schedules were not provided until late in the day on Tuesday, and just hours before the school started Wednesday morning. Parents were told this is because of fluctuations in enrollment. This explanation is illogical given that schedules for other grades in the district were set and published earlier. I'm especially disappointed to learn that electives for High Desert 7th, 8th graders were changed. With the elimination of drama and choir and combining of ASB yearbook and video production, many students have been assigned electives that are not desired or appropriate. My son is an example of this. In the spring, he submitted his request for 7th grade electives. He requested ASB yearbook, video production, choir, and visual arts in that order. When the schedule came out late on Tuesday, he was placed in journalism, an elective that was not offered last spring. He did not request, and that, as everyone should know, is wholly inappropriate for him. I immediately contacted the school and was offered his fourth choice, visual arts. He's on a wait list for video production. While I appreciate that move, I do not understand why he was not placed in any of the choices to begin with. Why he was not placed in any of his choices to begin with, or why he cannot now be an ASB yearbook or video production. He submitted his request timely, and his enrollment was never in question. Requests are honored in the order of submission. My son's assignment could not have been due to fluctuations in enrollment, as his name should then move up the list, not down. If fluctuations in enrollment is really the reason, the policy seems to have allowed newly enrolled students to push continuing students down the list. I assume that this is not true, and I'm left with the conclusion that 1, electives and teacher assignments were done at the last moment, and 2, class assignments were done randomly without regard to the time of the student's request or the appropriateness of the assignment. I respectfully ask that the district leadership provide transparency as to the class assignment process, take steps to ensure that popular time-honored electives be fully restored, and that students be assigned to their preferred electives in the order of their request. Thank you for your time. Respectfully submitted, Sandy Fossberg, parent to 2 district students, parent to 2 students in the district. Public and board members, I'll remind you that the board does not comment or take action on public comments and non-agendized items other than to suggest the superintendent be in contact with his public. Is there any more public comment? All right, thank you. Correspondence, proposals, or reports. We'll start with the AATA representative. Do we have one here?
Oh, there we go. Good evening, board members, community members. This is Mrs. Trussell, 5th grade teacher. New to distance learning, 2nd day. I do want to report that I know that there were a lot of changes at the end of the summer, and I do want to say that our teachers have again stepped up to the bar and even risen that bar. Some of the lessons that I'm hearing about are amazing. We have nothing but appreciation coming from parents and students. With my class, I have a full class, and they are very patient and kind and hardworking, and we're only on day 2. It's difficult and exhausting. They need constant help and constant feedback, and that leaves little time for preparation and planning, but I think as we go through this process over the next couple weeks, we're all going to refine and find and get our fine-tuned selves out there and put our best foot forward as always. So I hope everybody has a good couple weeks coming up and just keep working through all of the kinks. And it is nice to hear appreciation from those families that have reached out to us. And we need to hear it because we're human too, and this is exhausting and tiresome, but in the end, we all know that it's going to be rewarding, and hopefully we'll be back someday face-to-face with our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. If I can get this page turned. The SCA representative. Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move on to Mr. King. Would you do us the honor of first introducing the student representative to the board for this year?
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Kemp Fairbanks. Mr. Kemp Fairbanks is a senior at Vasquez High School. He was elected as ASB president for the 2020-2021 school year. He earned his Eagle Scout at the age of 15. And last semester, he was selected as track and cross-country captain for 2 years, as of last semester. He also holds 2 part-time jobs. One is a local machinist, and the other is for a local water company. Regarding his future goals, he's actively pursuing a nomination for the United States Military Academy. And Kemp, I'd love for you to talk to me about that at some point. Having served in the military myself, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. And welcome to our board, and it's an honor to have you.
Can we unmute our student rep if he's here?
Okay, I will reach out to Kemp Fairbanks tomorrow so that the board is aware of that, and make sure that he's able to connect with us and get on our Zoom board meetings and let him know what I shared this evening.
Wonderful. I'm going to call on the board members very quickly to welcome Kemp Fairbanks to our board. Mike?
Yes, welcome, Mr. Fairbanks. Pleasure to meet you. I hope that soon we'll meet you in person. I heard your resume. It reminded me a lot of my own son Sam, who's Vasquez High School class of 2016, also an Eagle Scout. I was also an 11-year Scoutmaster, also captain of cross country and track at various times. Also applied to a military academy. So, you know, I heard a lot, and sound like you've got some character and you're a hard worker. Sure you'll be fine this year, and look forward to watching you as a senior, both in this role, but generally as a senior. To that end, if you ever want some advice on my son did, he did get his congressional nomination. He was qualified for a meet. At any rate, he could give you some pointers, tell you what to interview, if you don't already have a contact. Pretty grueling process, but I sounds like you're well prepared. Welcome to this.
Very good. Brandon?
Welcome, Kemp. I can't wait to actually meet you in person. Thank you so much for dedicating the time to be our student representative to the board. I truly look forward to working closely with you.
Tim?
Well, I know Kemp very well, and the students of Vasquez and the district are going to be well represented. I had him in my classes, both health and PE. He's an intelligent young man who asks pertinent questions and has great ideas about expansion of things that he thinks needs to be done. I think it's going to be well. I'm excited to have Kemp on representing the students of the district. It'll go along with his career objectives. He's a very driven, focused young man. And he's spoken to me many times about his desire about military academy. Had several conversations with him, and it's always been exciting. He's fun, he's got a good sense of humor, and the best part about him is he's a hard worker, and he's going to be very successful. So welcome, Kent. Look forward to seeing you in person. If not, I'll talk to you at your next board meeting. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tim Kelly.
Just like to welcome him. I'm thinking maybe he's not here tonight because he's working one of his 2 jobs, possibly. So, very excited to meet him and have him work with our school board. And it's always great to hear the perspective of a student board member. So, just looking forward to working with him. So, welcome, Kemp.
Mr. Fairbanks, anyone who was employed at your level while still in high school certainly has my respect, and the idea that you would seek to be nominated to attend a military academy is certainly impressive. I want to remind you that this board, outside of your student report, we've become accustomed to a series of student representatives that represent the entire student body. And we've had the last couple be able to incorporate the opinions and what's important to the kids at Meadowlark as well as High Desert. So I hope you keep that in mind. There are times when you will be called upon for your opinion on things that we're trying to decide, because at 60 years old, I've got a bunch of kids and stuff, but I sometimes lose track of what's really important. So don't be surprised if we call on you now and again to help us in our decision-making process, but welcome, sir. I believe that brings us to the superintendent's gold standard report.
Okay, so I have a few updates tonight on COVID, a facilities report. I have some thank yous to share, and that will conclude my comments going through those few items. The first thing is I want everybody to be aware that different counties are at different places with regard to the industry standard guidelines for schools and local education agencies. So for example, in Orange County, I believe, they're already in the process of going through the 14 days in which the state takes them off the monitoring list because of the number of positive cases per 100,000. So currently in LA County, we're at approximately 191,000 cases per 100,000. It was a short time ago that we were at 350,000 cases per 100,000. So that is good news for Los Angeles County. The qualifier to submit a waiver for in-person instruction for grades transitional kindergarten through 6th grade is to be below a threshold of 200 cases per 100,000. So one might logically say, well, it seems like we're there at 191,000. However, LA County Department of Public Health has not released that waiver application yet, and part of that is because they're still watching those numbers each day. So I'll continue to keep the public and board updated on the progress of that. The threshold at which you can begin to come off of the state's monitoring list is under 100 cases per 100,000. So we still have a ways to go in LA County before we are there, and so we will again continue to keep you updated as we're looking very closely at those numbers, both within the county, but we also look locally. And locally, although the numbers can seem relatively small, we're in double digits, approximately 75 positive cases in Acton and Aadusd Meeting. However, when you look at that percentage, it's still considered relatively high in terms of trying to apply for that waiver process, even once it's released. And they would do an epidemiological study from the Department of Health to determine whether our local area is below a threshold that would be allowable. And there's several other parts to that application process, which again, has not been released yet. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the local control accountability plan and the Senate Bill 98 in regards to the learning continuity plan. So as you're probably aware, the local control accountability plan, otherwise known as the LCAP, is something that we must address each year. However, when Senate Bill 98 was released, it waived that requirement for the 2020-2021 school year. And therefore, we now have a new template to complete, which is called the LCP. And that is the Learning Continuity Plan. And so for that requirement, there's a timeline that I'll share a couple important dates on. The first part of that plan is that we meet with our stakeholders. And so on Monday, August 31st, staff will be sharing the template with our parent advisory committees, including our school site councils. That'll be one meeting. There's a requirement that you share it with your District Advisory English Learner Committee, your DLAC, and so we'll be doing that. There's also a requirement to share it with the associations. And the word used, just like in the LCAP, is that we consult with each one of those stakeholder groups. And again, so board, we will do that on Monday, August 31st. That is a part of the requirement in developing the plan before bringing it forward to the board for a hearing, which we will do at the first board meeting in September on September 10th. And subsequently, we will bring it again to the board on September 24th for the board to adopt the LCP. And that does put us within the timeline needed to submit the plan to the state. And then the state has a timeline where they can turn around and offer suggestions or required revisions to take place by staff at the local education agency level. So we look forward to sharing that with the board in the hearing on September 10th, and we look forward to hearing from our stakeholders as part of the consultation process for that. The next thing I'd like to do is just go through some of the facilities things. So there was a facility plan that Ernesto Mora had developed and shared with Lynn David, and I believe Ms. David had shared this with the board, an agenda in June. And so I'm very proud to share the work that has been done by our crew and by outside crews over the summer. So I'm not sure if we have these in exact order, but we're going to find out. And I will jump around if they're not. So this first picture, what you're looking at is the concrete that was put in at High Desert Middle School. This work is fabulous because where you see the new concrete, that was previously last year dirt. And so when you can see on the left side where the dirt was, you now can see on the right side where the concrete is. And so we no longer have little wind tunnels blowing around dust in those areas. So really appreciate the work that was done there. Schools are looking great in general, but that's a specific project that was committed to at the beginning of the summer again and has been completed. Let's go to the next one. So here we have new flooring. Again, you can see the before and after picture here. This is replacement of flooring in 2 rooms at Metal Arts School. And again, keeping our schools looking fabulous and that kind of upkeep is important. So let's go to the next slide. This one you can see the refinished stage at High Desert in the MPR. There was flooring replaced at 3 classrooms at High Desert. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the grass at Acton campus right here at the district office between buildings A and B. And in addition to that, there was also brush clearance done that you can see on the left side there as well. The next one. Okay, perfect. Then let's go to that. So it's probably hard to see in this slide, but what I wanted to point out is our special education classes. The effort that has gone into these classes by our staff, both our classified paraprofessionals in the classroom as well as our teachers, has been tremendous. I was so happy and pleased with what I've seen in the past 2 days walking around campuses, and I just want to commend our special education department for all of the work that they've done to reach out to our families and to our students, and just kudos to them. So great job, great example of teamwork. So we are not teaching anybody to fly jets, but what you see here is Mr. Ted Pelham. I was in his class this morning, and you can see his setup on the right. Just like many of our teachers have done, they've really gone above and beyond to ensure that their setup is geared toward distance learning. And several of our teachers have gone to this kind of multi-screen format so that they can keep, for example, the Zoom classroom up on one page, their notes up on another screen, and so on. And so just you know, Mr. Pelham's our local pilot example here. You know, flying in the world of education right now with distance learning. So great job to our teachers for, as Ms. Troussel said, just rising to the occasion here. So appreciate that. Let's see. I'd like to share that our PD Council, working in conjunction with Kim Shaw, developed tremendous Zoom training sessions on Thursday, August 20th, at our Welcome Back Day. So the team of teachers that presented came from elementary, middle school, and high school levels. And just some of the examples that they presented on were Google Classroom Level 1, Google Classroom Level 2, Zoom classes, digital whiteboards, screencasting, smart notebook, Google Sites, Seesaw, Nearpod, Pear Deck, Edpuzzle, Classcraft, and EduProtocols. So I just want to thank all of the folks who were involved with that. The feedback that I heard from staff was tremendous, and just want to thank you high-tech visionaries for keeping us in the 21st century prepared for our students. And I also want to thank the PD Council, and I believe it was Nicole Chun, for putting together Taco Tech Tuesdays, which is a chance for educators to get assistance with technology for student learning. So appreciate all the work that everybody's done to get these things rolled out, you know, ready for the start of the school year, and continuing professional development even after the start of the school year. Thank you, everybody. Great start to the school year. I was out at classrooms again today and yesterday. Some of the things happening, absolutely tremendous. Medal art for our younger students. It's so important for our families to get a chance to meet the teacher on that first day of school. And you made it happen while maintaining social distancing and having a schedule out where you can meet your kindergarten teacher, and an hour later the first grade teacher, second grade, and so on. And just a tremendous job. Hats off to Ms. Toledo and the teachers there for our youngest students, where I think this is perhaps the most challenging to do distance learning. Talking to a kindergarten teacher yesterday, she's such a consummate professional, and I could see that she just felt so for these youngsters that have to have their first day of kindergarten be remotely done. But I know our staff is there for them and committed and appreciated. So Thank you. That concludes my comments.
Okay, do we have any submissions this evening?
I don't believe we have any submissions.
This is the part where the district can, is advised that a charter is either submitting a petition or a material revision. Hearing none, we'll move on to board member comments now, and we'll start with Mike Fox.
Hey Ken, really quick, if I can backtrack, Kemp just joined the meeting.
Just
Okay, let's carry on. We will hear from Mike Fox.
For the rest of the audience, I'll forgive the repetition, but I did want to, now that Kemp's here, I didn't realize he wasn't. I want to welcome you, Kemp, for your resume from the superintendent. You sound like the kid who's got his stuff together. Always nice to see that. I'm a 11-year Scoutmaster, assistant Scoutmaster. So I always like to meet Eagle Scouts. My own son was an Eagle Scout. My own son was much like you, leader on campus with track and field. You guys didn't overlap. He was class of 2016 at Aadusd. You know, you remind me a lot of him, even with your ambitions for the military academy. You went that route. If you was disqualified for medical thing, I hope that never happened. If you ever want any pointers on the process and how the interview goes, acquaintances who can help you with that.
Hey, Brandon.
An earlier Vasquez student did that for him. Secondly, and may I just finish my comments? Is that cool?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to thank the teachers for doing everything they're doing during the transition. We heard from Mr. Cassell. I know it's got to be exhausting. Thank you. Pleased with the facility improvements. We will be on campus at some point. And having been here the longest on the board, I very deep memories of the days when budgets were extremely tight and we couldn't do any anybody who is at High Desert today would not even recognize this school from 5 years ago. Grass back in the quad, to fix the gym / cafeteria. The fact that we're able to continue to incrementally keep our facilities in order, that's a manifestation of good budget keeping. Then lastly, welcome back all the parents and students. And I too look forward to when all the electives back for so many moving parts now. I understand the disappointment with electives not addressing anybody's particular case. Certainly electives in sports are a big part of kids wanting to be involved in school. And of course, thank you and welcome.
Just pull that down. Okay. Brandon.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, welcome back to everyone. I'm really hoping the transition into a new year and the fully distance learning program is going well, and I'm really hopeful that we're going to be able to see everyone in person soon and we can put this pandemic behind us. Again, welcome to our new student representative to the board, Kemp. I look forward to working with you, and I can't wait to actually meet you in person. Thank you to both our public comments for tonight. It's always great to hear from the community. I also want to say thank you to the teachers for all the hard work they've done this summer, getting prepared for the distance learning program and all the support they've provided to our students through this difficult time. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to all our food services staff for everything they've done over this summer, providing meals to students and families in the district. That's a huge thing that was very unique for this year, and I can't thank you guys enough. You did a fantastic job and provided hundreds of meals to different people in the district. Beyond that, I hope everyone stays safe and healthy, and I look forward to a great year.
Thank you, Brandon. Tim.
I'm going to get some shout outs here. I want to start with the staff first. Thank you for your coordination and your working with your local certificated, classified at each one of your sites, working together with PD and getting things ready for this challenging time. Classified, couldn't do it without you. You've done good work on the site, getting them ready. We hope to get back to the sites as soon as possible. And again, for food services, for taking care of our students. And teachers, my hats are off to you. I am in awe. I know the challenges that are faced with lesson planning. I can only imagine the additional challenges you've had to come up with distance learning and still have that connection that you have with your students. I'm most appreciative because I know the professionals that you are. It was my pleasure to work with you over the years, and now I am just more than thankful that you've been able to step up and meet the needs of your students and muster through this challenging time. To our students, I wish you the best. This is going to be a new thing. You guys get those thumbs busy. I know you know how to use technology. We'll do everything we can to make sure that you have connection with your staff and teachers so that you can get your work done and then bring those talents back to the classroom when we get back to campus. To our parents, thank you for your patience. It's been a challenging and difficult time for everyone. I think we are one of the few districts that I am really proud of that has been able to and willing to step up and meet the needs of our students and parents and community. I've read and looked at several districts that surround us, and I think even though we're small, we're leaps and bounds ahead of most of them. And finally, a shout out to Kemp. Kemp, if you're here now, thank you for joining. Thank you for being elected. Congratulations on your selection. I'm looking forward to those great conversations that you had in class, that you'll bring representing all the students of our district and representing Vasquez High School as well. With that, it's a challenging time for everybody. Everybody stay safe and be well, and we'll get through this and get back to campus as soon as possible.
Kelly?
I'd just like to welcome back everyone back to school, and I know this distance learning is a unique situation, and I think Melissa really hit it, Melissa Trissa, when she talked about it in the beginning. With my job, this is week 3 for us, and I can tell you, parents and teachers, it doesn't really get much easier. Everyone is pretty tired, but you just have to plug along every day. So with that, it really is a lot easier when everyone works together as a team. So I can see that that's happening here in our school district. So I want to thank our teams, everyone that's working together. And yes, thanks to our food services. I think that they've been feeding kids all summer long, and so we can't forget about all the good work that they are doing, feeding our families. Kemp, welcome to our school board. I had welcomed you earlier, and I just want to say I really value hearing the perspective of a school board, a student school board member. So I look forward to hearing your comments and getting your perspective on things. We welcome you. I'm very impressed with your resume and all the accomplishments you've already have done and your future goals. So that's really great to hear. This week I did attend the Antelope Valley School Board Association meeting this last week, and we did talk about just some local issues, mostly about distance learning, and it was interesting to hear just what other school districts are doing. I was really pleased with what I saw our school district working on with their professional development. So hat goes off to the teachers that helped plan that and Mrs. Shaw, so thank you for doing that. And also on Monday I'll be attending the Los Angeles County School Board Trustees meeting. There will be a meeting about positive partnerships face-to-face and virtual with Dr. John Patrick, so that will be an interesting topic. If any of my school board member friends want to attend, I can give you the link for that. It'll be interesting. So we will be doing that. I think that's really it. Just everyone hang in there, and I really appreciate the parents that are thanking the teachers because they are working really hard. It's a very different situation, even when you have lots of years of experience teaching. This is for many like the first day of teaching in such a different environment. And also my hats go off to the parents because suddenly you find yourselves at home having to help your students get online and get all their assignments turned in. So our hats go off to our parents as well, and just all of us have to work together. So with that, I'd like to turn over to Ken, and thanks everyone.
All right, Mr. Fairbanks, we all had nice things to say about you a bit earlier. You can watch the replay. People have a photographic memory. Let's check this out. I complimented you on your dual employment at your age. I complimented you on your ability and courage to seek an appointment to a military academy. I reminded you that our past couple of school board student reps have found a way to be inclusive district-wide to where the interests of the Meadowlark and High Desert students, not only what they do in terms of their function, but their interests and maybe even their political motivations of the kindergartners would be encapsulated. That has the highest density of flagship locations of the finest retailers in the world. I know what high service level expectations are, and I certainly know what entitlement is. We also service residents and business locations with some of the highest tax rates in the world. And we have suffered some debilitating effects on this COVID thing on the retail market. We're expected to provide diversity in service, different types of services at different frequencies that fluctuate. Each morning I begin a division-wide meeting that is related to COVID and how our service levels are impacted and how our customers see those impacts. I will tell you this, I'm not accustomed to staff meetings at which people are paid to undermine the motives or the progress or the market share of the organization. So, my most recent evaluation of work had my supervisor saying, quote, Ken does not suffer fools well. I'm still trying to figure out what that means. But a lot of things come up in these meetings. And remember that the terms of my employment allow my children to attend BHUSD. So all of my kids could have gone to Beverly Hills schools. They come here. And what's interesting is there are staff members in the room that will talk about schools and their challenges of getting kids to school and what online learning looks like in their home. And since they know I sit on the school board, every once in a while they will actually call on me for advice, which is, some of you may find that amusing. But what I do tell people is this. We have a unique ability where I think our brand has always been that our teachers are very committed to the kids in this district. There is no place to hide in this district. You know the parents, you know the families, and you have a personal stake in producing students like Mr. Fairbanks, for example. One of the comments that I thought was very funny coming from my director who has kids in a school district over there, one of the great school districts, I guess, is that she found it terrible that some kid was just on the video or in the Zoom meeting, disrupting the class, making rude comments to the teachers. And I had to tell this person, look, this kid does this every day in class when he's there live. The teacher deals with it. This is what teachers do. These kids disrupt learning environments for the other kids and whatever. And now for the first time, this is all being recorded so a parent can see what they've actually raised and how disruptive that child is. And I find that beneficial one way or another. Here's what I will say. When I need a good laugh, I sometimes look at social media and see what people are saying there. Here's my experience. I went to Meadowlark School yesterday. We were well received. The materials we needed, including the supports we need for my child, were in place. They were clean. I hear horror stories about Chromebooks being distributed that have not been turned off and have not been wiped clean. Everything that my child needs, and she has an IEP, so she has a set of demands and supports, they were all in place. When I signed onto the computer, it didn't work. Excuse me, but Acton is not the Silicon Valley of internet reception, so there are going to be some problems, but there were people calling and working through it till we finally got things on the phone. Now, I will tell you this. Teachers are people. We're all people. there are faces missing from our enrollment yesterday. And we don't know what happened to some of those people. Maybe they had to move in with a parent there. Maybe there's a job that has been lost. There's a great deal of pressure going on among the general public when it comes to the economy, employment. And I see the effects of that at the top end of the retail market where I work, where you would never imagine this would happen. So in addition to trying to change the way they teach and reach kids, our students are exposed to something new. I'm glad they know computers. They're better prepared for it than the adults. But teachers, you're dealing with people who have their lives impacted on so many different levels, and you're patient with them. And it's almost as if you're supposed to be insulated from those things yourself, and I know you're not. So here's what I want you to go to bed tonight thinking about. Regardless of what anyone says about what was done or not done, think about that kid or those kids or that parent that you helped today, that you made a positive impact upon, whether it's in what you said or how you took some time or said something in the chat room that prompted some kid along, or that extra phone call you made after your hours were over. And I want you to think about that, and I want you to focus on that, and I want you to focus on that tomorrow, because that's really what makes this district what it is. We are what we are. That's our brand. I'm so thankful that that is your focus. And with that, a heartfelt thank you to all of you who work for this district and are pulling this off, because there's a lot of people out there who aren't, and I'm very proud of you. And at this point, Mr. Fairbanks, if you're out there and you'd like to say something to us, feel free.
Hello all. I just want to say thank you for all the kind words you said to me, and I want to thank the teachers and staff, because I do believe they are working the hardest that they can. And I went to school and I was very, very, very happy as a student, with how the online schooling was going. I was able to do what I needed to do. The teachers were able to communicate in they're able to communicate easily, and they're able to keep it fun. And I commend them. So thank you all, staff, teachers alike. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. So exactly what I was saying a few minutes ago. Thank you, Mr. Fairbanks. You were able to say it one sentence, and I rambled on and on. I believe we're ready to move on to the consent calendar. And I think Mr. King introduced a change, but tell us about that change, and then we'll move it in and you get a second. Go ahead, Larry.
Sure. So we have an amendment to the personnel action report, which is item number 8C, and I'm not sure if you'd like me to verbally share what.
Let's just pull that out, because I think that would be appropriate. Any other changes, the personnel, other than the personnel action report, we'll pull that. Can I get this moved in, please? Consent agenda moved in, please. Mike Fox moved it in. All right, thank you. So board members, short of pulling the personnel action report, we're going to ask that you approve, or at least pull out for discussion, minutes of the virtual regular board meeting of 8/13/20, the warrant register, which is the district's purchases, approval of a universal gift form from Lucy Thome. Yes, Lucy Thome has donated a mini fridge in the amount of $200. Thank you, Lucy, on behalf of the board. A Nearpod contract.
No, that's on the next one.
Oops, reel me back in. So that's it. Board, do you need to pull anything other than the personnel action report? Hearing nothing, call to question.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Kevin Jorgensen, yes.
Kelly, I.
Mike Fox,
Mike Fox, aye. Can you hear me?
thank you. Board 4 ayes, board president aye. Consent calendar excluding the personal action report carries 5-0. Let's talk about the personal action report, Larry.
Okay, so the changes made to the personal action report, exclusive what the public can see right now, is that there was 2 classified resignations, and Ms. McCauley, do you have a copy of the card?
Take a look at it. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. So just for public edification, I want to read off 2 classified employee names. It's Rosemary Humance, and then Shannon Tobin, both were instructional assistants in special education. I've spoken to both of them on several occasions, and sad to see them go. We appreciate their service. And then the third resignation that I'm going to announce to the public this evening is our principal at Meadowlark Elementary School, Ms. Tess Toledo, with an effective date of October 31st, 2020. I have some comments.
Hang on, I'm going to ask for a separate vote on Ms. Toledo's resignation. I'm going to move for that. Do I have a second for that, please?
This is Kelly, so moved.
Thank you. All right, board, let's call the question on the 2 employees that Mr. King read first.
Fox, aye.
Mike Fox is an aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Kevin Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, I.
And Board President Ken Falsgraf, aye, 5-0. I'd like to open up the resignation of Tess Toledo to comment, board.
Yeah, this sympathies to you and your family for what you've done. On a focus. Nice to work with you, to work with Trevor, she's always board member, stepped in and but also in the meetings, always been just done so thoughtfully and professionally. That really, of course,
I believe that's Mike Fox. He has a lot of feedback on his mic, and I believe he's making a comment right now about Tess Toledo's resignation.
Okay, public, we're aware that we're having microphone problems with Mr. Fox, but I think we're catching that he's trying to convey his thanks to Tess Toledo. All right, let's move to Brandon.
Yes, I am truly saddened to see your resignation and to see you go. I understand that you have to do what's best for yourself and your family, but from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. It's very rare we get administrators, employees like you, people that truly care about the students. When I first met you, I knew right off the bat that there wasn't any ulterior motive, there wasn't anything under there besides love for the students. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for dedicating so much time to the district, to our students, to make sure that they're successful moving forward. I wish you the best in the future, and if you ever need anything, I'm sure we're all here for you.
Thank you, Brandon. Tim?
Just so you know, I want to vote no on this because we just can't do without you, but I understand the extraordinary circumstances that you've had to endure over the past month. And the guiding light is your exceptional professionalism, your dedication to your staff and your students at your school. You are a bright light to Metal Honor. It's going to be an extraordinary challenge for staff to come up with a replacement, but you're extending your time through October 31st, which we are most appreciative of. And you're making a decision on the best interest of your family. This part of your family is going to be sad to see you go. So we wish you the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Kelly?
As we wish you nothing but the best, and through all of this, here you think of others first before yourself. That's why you've extended this to October 31st. I know that you wish you could be with your family now, and you have to take care of your family. We really respect you for that. We wish you nothing but the best, and we thank you for everything you've done for this community and for our school. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Board, you'll hear my sentiments reflected in my vote. Call the question on accepting the resignation of Tess Toledo, principal of Meadowlark School. Mr. Fox?
Hi, can you hear me, Mr.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Brandon?
Regretfully, I vote aye.
Tim?
With sincere appreciation and reluctance, Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly?
Both well wishes and love, aye.
Board 4-0. Board President Tess, on behalf of the board, understand what I'm about to do here. It's rare and it's only reserved for the finest employees. I vote no on accepting the resignation of Tess Toledo. Thank you, board. Motion carries.
Can I have some latitude, Mr. President?
Yes, please.
I just want to share, Tess, you and I have talked often in the past 6 months, many, many times. And I just want to share my gratitude for everything you've done for our students. As has been said, you are very selfless. And I know after your first son, losing your first son, that you stayed on board, and it would be unthinkable that you would continue to do that. And I just completely respect your decision. And I know you're going to be there for Emily and your grandchildren, and that's where you need to be right now with Rod. And I just appreciate everything that you brought to our school district, and for going above and beyond at all times. Thank you, Tess. And I'm not going to say goodbye because we will stay in touch. I appreciate you very much, and Rod. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tess. Let's move on. Education and pupil services. A Nearpod contract. I have a motion.
This is Brandon, so moved.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
Larry?
Ms. Shaw, I'm going to ask you to speak to the contract, just to explain a little bit about what this is for our board.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Nearpod, I'm certainly not the techie person that should be explaining this, so I apologize. There's probably a teacher on here that could explain it much better than I. but it is something that the teachers can use, and a platform. If Melissa's on here and she would rather do that, that's probably better. But it's a system, like a technology system that the teachers can use to better support our students. It is interactive, like in real time. The teachers can be doing something on one end on the computer, and the kids on the other end can, like, in real time interact basically at the same time. I know I'm not explaining that well to you, but.
Maybe I can help. Would it be fair to say that this program takes different applications and synchronizes them and creates a bridge between them? Thank you.
Yes.
Board, do you have any thank you, Kim. Board, do you have any questions about this?
I have no questions.
I'm excited about the opportunity for staff and students. I think it's terrific.
Kelly?
I don't have any questions.
And neither do I. Call the question.
Fox, aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 4, aye. Board President, aye. 5-0. Item 10, personnel declaration for need of fully qualified educators. It's an action item. Can we move this in?
This is Mike, I'll move it in.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
Larry?
Okay, this might look familiar to you, board. This was on the last board meeting agenda, however, it was on the consent agenda, and we needed to have it as a separate item. So unless the board has any questions about it, you actually discussed and approved it previously. We'd just like you to approve it with our recommendation one more time as a separate item.
Before I ask for board comment, the details of this are posted publicly in the agenda. It was there Monday, is that correct?
That's correct.
Board?
No discussion, no questions from Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
I have no comments. This is Brandon Roque.
Tim Jorgensen, none.
Kelly, none.
I have nothing. Call the question.
Mike Fox is an aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 4 ayes. Board President, aye. 5-0. Moving on to business services. Consolidated application for funding categorical aid programs. Do I have a motion?
This is Mike, if you could hear me, I'll move it in.
Thank you.
Brandon Roque, second.
Larry?
So this is, in short, it's called the CONAP, and it stands for Consolidated Application. It allows for distribution of federally funded programs by the local education agency, and staff is recommending approval of the CONAP this evening. Ms. David is here if the board has further questions on clarification.
My understanding is that this is the old Title I program.
That's one of the federally funded programs.
Title II,
Correct.
Title III, English learners, and yeah, this is the old title stuff. Board, do you have questions?
No questions from Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Brandon Roque, no questions.
Tim Jorgensen, none.
Kelly, no questions.
And I have nothing. Call to question.
Fox, aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board, 4 ayes, board present, aye, 5-0. Moving on, future agenda items. I'm showing career development, science book adoption, research health book, learning control continuity plan. That's a hearing that needs to happen. It's my understanding that the public input from shareholders or stakeholders for the learning continuity plan cannot take place the same day as a hearing, and the hearing cannot take place the same day as an adoption. So you will see the learning continuity plan stakeholder input meetings where the district consults with these different groups. Next week, you will see the hearing for this at the first meeting in September, and you will see the adoption of this, or the presentation of the plan to the board for adoption at the second meeting to meet the deadline of September 30th for submittal to LACO and I believe ultimately the state. So that's what's on the agenda. Board members, is there anything you wish to add to this future agenda items for staff to address in a way that they should calendar effectively? Mike?
I have nothing. I think between the COVID and the fluid situation, I think that's a fair amount.
Thank you, Mike. Brandon?
Currently, I have nothing.
Tim?
Nothing.
Kelly, nothing.
And I am liking what I'm seeing on there. The calendar is this, board. September 10th, we have a regular meeting. September 24th, we have a regular meeting. Do we have any schedule conflicts from any of you?
From mine.
Brandon Roque, none.
I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to report out on closed session, item 14. The board unanimously approved staff recommendation on a student matter. A point of order here, is there a reason I would have to vote on that? I don't believe so. Okay, good. And with that, we are ready to adjourn. If the board is ready to do that, do I have a motion to adjourn at 8:41 p.m.?
Tim Jorgensen moved.
Kelly Jensen, second.
Call to question?
Fox, aye.
Brandon Roque, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Board 4 ayes, board present, aye, 5-0. This meeting is over. Thank you, public, for joining us, especially those of you that shared your opinions with us. Thank you.
Have a great night, everyone.